It's impossible, lady.
It's a disgrace.
Get it through this thing here. Your plan has failed.
Look, when I was first elected to the City of Sydney now 12 years ago, it was the case that many regional mayors said for them that people sleeping rough in their towns was just not an issue. It was really a Sydney problem. And you're right, Paul, it is the case that we've got so many people each night, tragically, in the City of Sydney still sleeping rough. But over the last few years, it is the case that regional mayors have started telling me that they have people sleeping in their towns rough for the first time in living memory. But here's what I won't cop.
Warning. I am about to spin this right around and hope that I don't get called out for this on the Aussie Fan channel.
I won't cop James Ashby and I won't cop Peter Dutton and the Conservatives blaming individuals and particularly blaming young people for the fact that these are economic conditions that are driving the housing affordability crisis. That is just rubbish and we have to call that out. This is not lazy young people.
No, that's Labor's immigration policy, which is also driving up prices in houses. And Linda,
Dutton,
you've got to make it very clear to your colleagues, stop letting hundreds of thousands in a year.
Want to get in the way of normal working people's wages growing, and that's why young people find it harder to afford a home. So I will not cop from James Ashby.
We're not going to have minimum wage rise increases, which are going to be able to get you to $1 million for a deposit for a two-bedroom unit in Sydney.
Lazy or frivolent. That's just wrong. It's just wrong. Normal Australians
should be able to
twist this,
Linda. You're twisting it.
But
this is very good of Labor. They like to twist.
Yeah, they do.
It's what Labor governments do.
But to your point, James, about again, look, this is what about this issue, right? Everyone interprets things to be very personal, right? Now, obviously, there are going to be circumstances of the people that have been working their backside off, that aren't earning enough money, that are pulling their head in as tight as they possibly can, who aren't able to get anywhere near it, right? However, there are other examples of people who may well haven't been pulling their head in as tight as they possibly could, but they're still complaining. And there could be some other examples of people who may even have the cash, but they don't have the houses. And I've got to say, James, it reminds me a little bit of the general sort of parenting or education debate, because all of us have slept somewhere or lived somewhere or paid the rent somewhere. We all think we know how to solve this.
Yeah, but the safety net is failing, Linda. It's your people within Labor that just continue to allow, if it's not 750,000 people into the country in 1 year, it's another 500,000. And this is part of the problem. The safety net for the people who are already here has disappeared.
ASIO has decided to return Australia's national terrorism threat level from possible to probable.
With warnings it's about to get worse due to a record surge in migration.
My government's first priority is
migration.
That's my style. I hope you've noticed that.
I spoke to a bloke who's living it rough out of a camper van of his. He's been on the streets, basically moved from shire to shire to shire, can't sleep anywhere safely around here in Livingston. So he goes and finds some back block area to sleep. And the problem is he's a bloke who's worked his entire life.
Reach for the stars.
He's fallen through the cracks through hard times due to medical reasons.
It's just science, eh?
Mind-blowing, isn't it?
And now he's busted ass sitting in a bugged out little bloody camper van. He says it himself, and he can't do anything about it. No one within the government's prepared to help because they're too worried about
migration.
The 40-odd thousand refugees that have come in via aircraft under this Labor government federally that are getting looked after by your people over this bloke.
Are standing in the way of the Albanese Labor government's record investment in public housing.
Own it, Linda.
We've got a Prime Minister who grew up in public housing, who believes in it, who wants to fund it, and your party and the Conservatives stand in the way of it in the Senate. We want to build more housing for people like this
bloke. You think you can build houses for $80,000? It's impossible, lady.
It's a disgrace.
Get it through this thing here. Your plan has failed.
We also want to help more Australians live in their own home. That's what we've done.
A group of bystanders didn't want to hear.
Let's talk about housing, Prime Minister.
Do you want to? Yeah, I think you've had your say.
Some say the housing shortage is about to get worse as net migration surges to its highest level on record.
Well, the consequences will be a housing crisis. It'll be a rental crisis.
I won't cop James Ashby and I won't cop Peter Dutton and the Conservatives blaming individuals and particularly blaming young people for the fact that these are economic conditions that are driving the housing affordability crisis. That is just rubbish, and we have to call that out.
It's an example that this government just isn't up to it. And we need a better government.